They transcended gravity to redefine the boundaries of human achievement, fueled by relentless bravery and vision. We honor the bold NASA moon crew with a breathtaking orchestral masterpiece where delicate strings meet powerful, soaring melodies. Journey through this cinematic soundscape as we celebrate the heroes who dared to turn the celestial sky into our doorstep. In the silent darkness above our world, where Earth becomes a fragile blue sphere suspended in endless black, a small group of human beings carried the hopes of all humanity. Their story is not only one of rockets and calculations, but of courage, sacrifice, imagination, and an unshakable belief that the impossible can be made real. This is the story of the Apollo generation, the era when dreamers, engineers, and astronauts joined hands to touch the moon. In the early 1960s, the world stood divided by tension and rivalry. The Cold War had turned space into a new frontier, a proving ground for technological and ideological strength. When President John F. Kennedy declared that America would land a man on the moon and return him safely to Earth before the decade was out, it was a promise that seemed almost beyond reason. At that time, no human had ventured beyond low Earth orbit. Rockets exploded. Technology failed. The moon was a distant mystery. Yet the declaration ignited a fire. From laboratories and wind tunnels to launch pads and classrooms, thousands of scientists, mathematicians, engineers, and technicians dedicated themselves to a singular purpose. At the heart of this effort stood NASA, an agency barely a few years old, now entrusted with humanity's most ambitious journey. The Apollo program became a symbol of collective will. It demanded precision beyond imagination. Every bolt, every line of code, every calculation carried the weight of human lives. The Saturn V rocket rose from this determination, a towering marvel of engineering, more than 110 meters tall, capable of generating thrust so immense it shook the very ground beneath it. When its engines ignited, the sound was not merely noise, it was thunder forged by human hands. The Earth trembled as if acknowledging the audacity of what was about to occur. Flames and smoke billowed outward, and slowly, impossibly, the giant began to rise. Inside the command module sat 3 astronauts, calm, disciplined, aware of the danger yet focused on their mission. Among them was Neil Armstrong, a test pilot known for his quiet resolve. Alongside him were Buzz Aldrin and Michael Collins. They were not superheroes. They were human beings who trained relentlessly, who faced fear with preparation, and who trusted one another with their lives. The journey to the moon was not a straight path. Earlier missions laid the groundwork, each one a stepping stone into deeper space. Apollo 8 became the first crewed spacecraft to leave Earth's orbit and circle the moon. As its astronauts read from the Book of Genesis while orbiting that silent world on Christmas Eve, millions back on Earth listened in awe. For the first time, humanity saw Earth rising above the lunar horizon, a delicate blue marble, unified and borderless. Then came Apollo 11. On July 20, 1969, the lunar module Eagle separated and began its descent. Alarms sounded in the cockpit. Fuel reserves ran dangerously low. The surface below was strewn with boulders. Armstrong took manual control, searching for a safe landing site. With seconds remaining, the Eagle touched down. Houston, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed. In mission control, cheers erupted. Around the globe, hearts pounded. When Armstrong stepped onto the lunar surface, his words echoed across time, one small step for a man, one giant leap for mankind. In that moment, the moon ceased to be a distant object of poetry and myth. It became a place where human footprints pressed into ancient dust. Aldrin soon joined him, describing the landscape as magnificent desolation. Above them, Collins orbited alone in the command module, carrying the responsibility of bringing them home. But triumph was never guaranteed. The path to the moon had been marked by tragedy. In 1967, a fire during a ground test claimed the lives of Gus Grissom, Ed White, and Roger B. Chaffee. Their loss shook the program to its core. Investigations led to sweeping redesigns, safer systems, and a renewed commitment to excellence. The memory of Apollo 1 was carried into every subsequent mission, a solemn reminder that exploration demands both bravery and humility. Even after the first landing, danger persisted. Apollo 13 suffered a catastrophic explosion en route to the moon. The mission was aborted, and the world watched anxiously as astronauts struggled to survive with limited power, oxygen, and water. Through ingenuity and teamwork, engineers on Earth devised solutions in real time. Against staggering odds, the crew returned safely. It was a failure transformed into a testament to human resilience. Throughout the Apollo era, each mission expanded our understanding of the moon's geology and our own planet's fragility. Astronauts deployed scientific instruments, collected samples, and conducted experiments that would shape planetary science for decades. They drove lunar rovers across dusty plains, gazed at Earth from hundreds of thousands of kilometers away, and experienced a perspective few humans ever will, the overview effect. A profound realization of Earth's unity and vulnerability. The emotional weight of these journeys cannot be measured solely in kilometers traveled or rocks collected. It lies in the courage to confront the unknown. It lies in the families who watched launches with quiet pride and hidden fear. It lies in the countless individuals behind the scenes, from seamstresses who stitched space suits by hand to programmers who wrote code for guidance computers with memory less powerful than today as simplest devices. The moon landing was not the triumph of 3 men alone. It was the achievement of a generation. As the Apollo program concluded in 1972, humanity left more than footprints on the moon. We left instruments, flags, and plaques, but most importantly, we left proof that boundaries can be crossed. The dream did not end there. It evolved. Robotic probes ventured deeper into the solar system. Space shuttles carried astronauts into orbit. International partnerships formed aboard the International Space Station, where former rivals worked side by side. Today, new missions once again set their sights on the moon and beyond. Programs like Artemis program aim to return humans to the lunar surface, this time to stay longer, to build sustainably, and to prepare for the journey to Mars. The spirit of Apollo lives on in these ambitions, the same daring, the same relentless pursuit of possibility. When we listen to the swelling strings of an orchestral tribute, when we see archival footage of a rocket piercing the sky, we are reminded that exploration is woven into our nature. From ancient navigators who crossed oceans guided by stars to astronauts who rode pillars of fire into space, humanity has always looked upward and asked, what if? The heroes of the moon missions ultimately showed us that the sky is not a limit, but an invitation. They transformed science fiction into lived reality. They united a divided world, if only for a moment, in shared wonder. Children watched grainy black and white images and decided to become scientists, engineers, and explorers. Entire industries were born from technologies developed for the space race, computing, telecommunications, materials science, shaping the modern world in ways both visible and unseen. Their legacy endures not only in museums and history books, but in every launch that shakes the Earth and in every dreamer who gazes at the night sky. The moon, once distant and unreachable, now carries the imprint of human footsteps, a quiet reminder that courage can bridge even the vast gulf between worlds. As the music rises to its final crescendo, we remember that the journey to the moon was never solely about planting a flag. It was about expanding the horizon of what humanity believes it can achieve. It was about proving that with vision, cooperation, and unwavering determination, even the most distant destination can become our doorstep. They transcended gravity. They challenged the unknown. They carried us with them into the silent sea of stars. And in doing so, They reminded us that our greatest frontier is not just space, it is the limitless potential within ourselves.